Mr. Speaker, the person who was unable to answer a simple question was the leader of the Conservatives. My question is, what is his economic plan? Is he going to cut health transfers? The $200 billion that our government is going to invest in healthcare? Maybe. Maybe they'll cut the $30 billion that we will invest in our national daycare system. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Politics. Canadian citizens are devastated by floods, forest fires, massive storms, and deadly heat waves. Symptoms of global ecosystem collapse.
What is this guy?
And our planet is dying right before our eyes. Instead of living up to our staggering potential as a world leader in green transition, I'm risking here. Do you mind?
Oh, I wanted to hear what he said there. They muted it now. This is obviously some guy in the guest area just heckling. Oh, man, I really want to know what he's saying.
People to do their job and then proceed.
What's this climate activist guy doing? Can we get back to the proceedings now?
Continue. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition from the top, please.
The Prime Minister said there was no problem doubling our national debt because interest rates were low, Mr. Speaker. But
just, we'll pause a bit. Wait another second here. We'll come back to the questioning. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister said no problem with doubling our national debt, adding more debt than all previous Prime Ministers combined because interest rates, he claimed, were low. Well, his same spending has actually increased inflation and interest rates. Yesterday, the Finance Minister was unable to answer how much Canadians are paying for interest on the debt that she has racked up. If a mortgage broker couldn't tell you the interest payment on a loan, he'd be fired. So why is the Finance Minister not fired for her inability to answer that basic question?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, there's someone who we don't intend to have fired after the 2025 election, and someone who I actually think should keep his job as leader of the Conservative opposition. And I think one of the reasons he is going to keep his job is he can't answer a simple question for Canadians. And that is, what is his positive plan? What does he actually propose to do for the Canadian economy? The only thing that we know is he's going to cut. He's going to cut the $200 billion that we're investing in our healthcare system.
He's going to cut the carbon tax.
He's going to cut the $300 billion.
He's going to cut McKinsey that you're spending a bunch of money on.
One thing we're going to cut is the carbon tax. In fact, now speaking of that tax, we know that the Prime Minister plans to raise it up to 41 cents a litre, or $1,500 net after rebates per family. But what most people don't know is that there is a second carbon tax he plans to stack on top of the first one, a sneaky tax he calls a fuel standard that will hit home heating gas, our factories, and countless other higher costs. So how much will Canadians pay in higher gas and diesel prices because of the second Liberal carbon tax?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I am glad to hear the Conservative leader actually talking about climate, because the reality is the biggest challenge our planet faces and the biggest challenge our economy faces is building a clean economy. That is where the jobs are. That is where the jobs will be. We've invested $120 billion in our green industrial plan. It is creating jobs today. It will create jobs in the future. The Conservatives would wreck all of that.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Now, the question was about carbon tax 2. We already know about carbon tax 1. The Prime Minister has put in place a 14-cent a litre tax that will rise to 41 cents a litre. This raises gas, heat, and grocery bills. But now they're sneaking in a second carbon tax called the fuel standard. It has no rebate whatsoever, but will apply in every province and territory across the country. So if she's so proud of her second tax, why won't she tell us exactly how much it will cost in higher diesel, gas, and household costs per family?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Conservative leader obviously doesn't understand that what every industrial economy needs is a plan to build the clean economy of the future. But I'll tell you who does understand that. An electrician called Jeff, who I met in Mississauga in March. And I was there to talk with him about the investments we were going to make in electrifying the Canadian economy. He knows that that means for him jobs. He told me I have the skills to pay the bills. And thanks to our plan, those skills will be put to work and Jeffs across the country will pay their bills.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
What she wants is for Jeff to pay her bills with a higher carbon tax. Jeff will have to pay more tax on his vehicle, more tax on his home heating, more tax on the food that the farmers and truckers bring to him, who are taxed by this scheme the Liberals are putting forward. So I've already said the first carbon tax is 41 cents a litre and $1,500 net per family. Now the Liberals promise a second tax. So I'll ask again, how much will carbon tax 2 add in extra diesel, gas, and household costs per family?